What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stevie the Black. That's STEVEE, the Black. I'm back, and after taking a little break from football, I'm back now. Uh, ooh, yeah. Sorry if you can see the smoke. It's just a humidifier. Gotta clean the airwaves and everything like that. So, just giving you a heads up on there. I am not smoking, but obviously you can see that as well. So, uh, well, hold on a second. All right, there we go. Okay, so what exactly am I here to talk about? Well, I'm here to talk about a lot actually. The Philadelphia Eagles did a lot last week, and I just want to give my thoughts on it as well. So, I want to say, what was it, 8 days after the Eagles got knocked out of the playoffs, they finally had their end of season press conference, and Lord and behold, Nick Sirianni was here to stay. I can't say I'm surprised by this at all, because I'm not. Because even as myself, it was a hard decision to make. So I understand Jeffrey in that aspect. Like, man, this guy, we have one. Yeah, the epic collapse was an epic collapse, and he could not fix it. I was like, but he did win a lot of games, and we were just in the Super Bowl. I'm thinking if it went normally and the Eagles had Jeffrey had his end of meeting right after the game like he normally does, I'm thinking Jeff would probably have fired Nick. But because he had the extra days to kind of think it through and think it over, I think he came to the realization that after the emotions are set aside, he was like, I can't let go of this guy. Again, am I happy that he's still here? I don't know. I guess not. But am I surprised that he's still here? No, not at all. Because as I said, just for me personally, I went back and forth. So if I was going back and forth, I imagine Jeffrey Lurie was doing the same thing. And he was like, okay, come up with the plan. He basically gave him the Doug Peterson option. Come up with the plan, and if I don't agree with that plan, we're going to let you go. But man, let me tell you something. When that press conference happened, and you just saw Nick Sirianni's face, bro, he looked drained. He looked out of it. He just looked like a broken man. He looked like a broken man. And trust me, it was a long season, but oh Lord, he looked like a broken man. So apparently, Nick's been stripped of everything. He's been stripped of power. He's just a CEO, head coach, as they say. He's just there to kiss babies, shake hands, and look pretty for the camera and keep the culture in check. That's all he's there for. He's not in charge of the offense anymore. He was never in charge of the defense, but now he has no say in the offense. He has no say in the defense, and he's just there. He's just there. And the question is, can this work? Like, in the time that all happened in these 2 weeks, Eagles have already hired their new defensive coordinator and their new offensive coordinator, right? So for the past couple, so I'll go into that real quick. So the past couple years, the Eagles have been in love for whatever reason with the Vic Fangio defense, and they've tried out his disciples, and it just did not work. So because it did not work, they said, hey, let's go get the guy. And the guy, Vic Fangio himself, is now officially here in Philadelphia. How do I feel about this? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I hate this defense. But, I mean, if you're going to employ a defense, you might as well get the guy to do it. And I can't really fault you for that. If it doesn't work, now we know this defense just doesn't work at all because we've had 3 different people come in and try and play. Gannon, Deshaun, and the guy himself, Vic Fangio. Now, I tried to convince me that this was a good signing. Oh, every year he's at least top 10. Some years he's even top 5. We've seen this defense win a Super Bowl. So it's like, no, this could work. It's good. It's brilliant. It's okay. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I've seen this defense last year be absolutely trash. Now, that is because they switched mid-season. I don't know if it would have worked itself out, but even before then, when it was Desai and the game against the Cowboys and the game against the 49ers weren't much confidence either because those 2 teams went up and down the field on us, bruh. So, like I said, I don't know how much confidence I'm supposed to have because I really don't have much. But at least this time we got the guy, the inventor of it. And if it doesn't work, well, surprisingly, Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel are still out there. While Belichick probably won't be a defensive coordinator, we could probably get Vrabel to do it or just be the head coach. I don't really know, but we'll see. We will see. Now to the offense. Man, we got Kellen Moore. The Eagles went and got Kellen Moore. I hate this move. I hate it so much because, number one, he's a former Cowboys. And when former Cowboys come to the Eagles, it just never works out. But people want to be like, oh, but, the Chargers, whenever we Eagles get an OC from the Chargers, it always works out. We get to the Super Bowl. So maybe that factored into their decision. Maybe they're superstitious over there in the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't really know. But everyone's saying, oh, but you see all the motion, this, motion, that. Like, if you're basing this off because of the fact that we'll do motion, I mean, yeah, we didn't do any motion last year at all, but to vouch for this guy because he was top 10 in motion is like, okay, but what did he do when he was in Dallas? Now, it's not like they won anything. They still haven't won anything, He didn't do anything when he went to LA, so it's like, what did he do? What did he do? I guess what I can say is his routes, he'll get Smitty open, he'll get Dallas open, he'll get AJ open. But I mean that's great because the routes last year were absolute garbage and took way too long. But I mean, and then there's the motion thing. I mean, the thing that worries me is the running the ball, and lack thereof. You could say, oh, but when he was in Dallas, that's because that's back when he had an elite running back in Ezekiel Elliott. He had Elliott, not prime Elliott, but he had Elliott in like his final good years, right? Like Elliott right now is a shell of himself, but he had Elliott for his final few years. So, like I said, I'm not really a fan of this move. It's just the Eagles once again picking people who they know won't challenge their authority, and that's who they went with. Fangio wanted to be closer to home. And more, like, I wanted someone who was going to challenge Jalen Hurts and challenge this offense and get in Jalen Hurts' face and really make him work for it and make him a better player out of it, right? Like, honestly, can you look at Kellen Moore and absolutely think, yeah, he's going to make Jalen Hurts a better quarterback. Yeah, he's going to make this offense significantly better. I mean, will it be better? I mean, there's only one place to go when you're at the bottom, and that's up. So, of course it will be better. How much better? Actually, I can't even say that. Of course it'll be better. Because honestly, and what I'm afraid of, what I'm truly, truly afraid of is the Eagles getting off to a bad start. Like if they, because first of all, they have no business doing that because this schedule that we got next year is so easy, bro. Like I'm not even like there should be no reason why we shouldn't be in the playoffs, and there shouldn't be no reason why we shouldn't be in contention for a number one seed. That's how easy this schedule is, right? Excuse me. But I'm really truly afraid that because of the whole Nick thing and him not having any power, that if the Eagles start off slow and things start off bad, and the Eagles are like 500 or worse, that Jeffrey Lurie will be upset, rightfully so, but also on him, and fire Nick Sirianni. Now, if he does that, what happens to everyone else that they hire? Because they want to hire all these high-profile name and veteran coaches, and that's great. Surround Nick with that. But what if it doesn't work out? What if things start off bad? Well, you can't fire Nick because Nick has nothing to do with it. He has no power. So who's to blame is the offensive coaches and defensive coaches. And anyway, if it were up to me, I would have hired, me personally, I would have hired either Ron Rivera for the defensive coordinator or Mike Vrabel, right? I would have hired any one of those two for the defense. I wasn't too high on Ron Rivera, but I started to come around, and Eagles fans were like, no, this guy is good. And plus, Addy convinced me a little bit. And I'm like, okay, well, if he is good, I checked out some of his stats and everything when he was a defensive coordinator. And he only had really like 3 or 4 elite years of the defense. Everything else was average or worse. But I was like, hey, it's a veteran coach. So that's something we need. But then they ended up getting Vic Fangio, which, again, I'm not too high on this off defense. But, I mean, it's better to have the guy who invented it and is an absolute master of it than to have his sucky disciples, you know? It'd be like, that will be like if the Eagles hired all these Andy Reid assistants, right, or coaches, and they all didn't pan out, and then we just went and got Andy Reid if he became available, right? Like, that's how that would be. Like, oh, man, all these guys didn't work out. Oh, but here comes the man himself, you know? So, that's how that would go. So, and as for the offense, I wanted, what's dude's name? Oh, man, I'm blanking on his name. Eric Bieniemy. That's who I wanted. Because he pushed Patrick Mahomes. He had the Kansas City Chiefs offense looking amazing. Top 5, top 3 every single year. And this is back when they were super dominant. Super duper dominant. Now, I mean, they're in the Super Bowl again, so I guess they're still dominant. But not as dominant as they were before. I mean, like, if you looked at the Chiefs this year, they were struggling. They were struggling. Now, all of a sudden, they flipped the switch. Like, they look like, now it looks like they were just like, man, we just waiting for the playoffs to start. And then once the playoffs start, they just flipped it on. All of a sudden, everybody can catch. Travis Kelce can get open, and Andy Reid can coach. Like, it's like, dude, where was this all season? Well, it looks like they were playing possum. They were playing possum. Chad Ochocinco, I know what the Eagles are doing. They're just waiting for the playoffs to get here. And then they'll turn it on. Oh, okay. Right? Like, they had the cachet to do that. Tom Brady and them, they had the cachet to do that. But us, no. We ain't had the cachet. We didn't do nothing. What we do? What we prove? We had one good year of success. And we didn't finish the job. Anyway, like I said, I wanted Eric Bieniemy, but who knows? Maybe he wasn't even available. I don't know. I mean, the Commanders just hired their new head coach today, Dan Quinn. Who knows if he's even gonna retain Eric Bieniemy, right? I don't know, but you know, there was always that chance that, hey, can we get him? You know, let's trade for him. Maybe Commanders made him unavailable. I don't know. And so maybe the Eagles felt like they had to make a move, so they went and got Kellen Moore, who they thought was the best option. Now, he's definitely better than Cliff Kingsbury, I'll tell you that. Because apparently people are like, oh, go get Cliff Kingsbury. No, you mean the guy who couldn't make it work in the NFL with Kyler Murray? You mean the guy who couldn't make it work in college with Patrick Mahomes? You want that guy? No, thank you. I don't want that guy. I forgot who were the other names that were out there that was connected to the Eagles, but no thank you on anybody else. It was Eric Bieniemy for me. I was all in on Eric Bieniemy and nobody else. Right? So let's see. Sirianni stand has no power, looked deflated. The new OC, the new DC. I think that's pretty much it. Like I'm pretty much caught up in about 16 minutes on 2 weeks worth of news. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? No. I mean, obviously, all the old coaches are fired, which I'm not sad about it, No, I think that's pretty much it. On the Eagles front, I watch me say that now and then. As soon as I'm done recording, I should be like, oh man, I should have talked about this. Gosh darn it. I mean, the only other thing I could talk about is the Super Bowl, which I will not be watching because I could care less about the Super Bowl and the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, both of their opponents choked in the conference games. The Ravens choked, and the Lions definitely choked. They had a 24-7 lead and choked that thing away. Or I guess you could say Dan Campbell did, by being stupidly aggressive. Because there's a difference between being smartly aggressive and stupidly aggressive. And Dan Campbell was stupidly aggressive. Now, I will say on one of the fourth down calls, if the receiver, I think it was St. Brown, had he caught that ball, then it would be okay. But, these things happen. So you got to be smart and just take the points. Because who knows? If you take those 6 points, then at the end, let's see. With that last minute touchdown they got, well, maybe they wouldn't have even gotten it. Because the 49ers were probably in prevent defense. But even still, anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'll give my thoughts on the Super Bowl next week when we get closer to the game. But man, the Eagles got a lot of work to do, guys. Eagles got a lot of work to do on the defensive side of the ball, the offensive side of the ball. Is Jason Kelce coming back? Who knows? I don't know anything about college football. I don't watch college football, so I can't tell you who I think the Eagles should draft. I'll leave that to better people. But I will say there are a lot of things we need to do, a lot of things we need to fix. Should be interesting. Should be interesting. Should be interesting. Like I said, I'll give my thoughts on the Super Bowl next week. Because there is 2 different outcomes that I could see from this that I will dive into next week. Hopefully nobody steals it from me. Because I don't want to seem like I'm copying off of people. But, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, from now on, I'll be more, I'm off my break now. So, anything that the Eagles do, I will be reporting it. I will be giving my take on it. So, there's that. Like I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't really shock me that the Eagles or Jeffrey Lurie end up keeping Nick Sirianni. I was going back and forth with him myself. I probably still would have ended up firing him, but, now you got to live with your decision that you make. But, like they say, sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side. They could have brought in Mike Vrabel, and it could have been worse. Or it could be worse next year with Nick Sirianni. You don't know. You only gotta live with your decision, and you gotta accept what happens. If things get worse, well, okay, now we know that we wasted a year, and now we got to go into a rebuild mode. Well, actually, not necessarily, but now we got to start all over at head coach. Well, I guess having to start over with a head coach is kind of like a rebuild because. got to bring in a whole new culture and everything. I just hope eventually Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman stay out of their way. They won't, because they think their way works, because, oh, we're one of the most respected franchises and we've been to 2 Super Bowls and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, just let people do their jobs, bro. Like, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't got anything else. So please remember to like this video, share it, comment down below what you think, guys. Should the Eagles have kept Nick Sirianni, and do you like the new addition of coaches that they hired in Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, again, I'm gonna leave a link to my new podcast that I'm doing in the comment section. I would really, really appreciate it if you guys subscribe and listen to that video as well. Just me and my friends acting stupid, reviewing movies and going over different topics. Just bear with us. It's not the greatest thing in the world. We're still trying to work on our chemistry, so just bear with us. I'll leave a link to that channel in the description below. But yeah, until something else happens, until some breaking news happens for the Eagles, I will catch you next time. And if you're not down with that, I've just got 3 words for you: fly, Eagles, fly. And until next time, peace.